As we headed down Sunset Boulevard, the loss was worse than any fire we've ever seen. And this looks like the apocalypse here. Right here, you've got homes that are burning, homes that are burning. Take a look over here. This is an apartment complex that has gone up. Wow. Wow. That is a Pacific Palisades Presbyterian Church, or what is left of it. Those are the remnants of a beautiful church that used to be up on the hill there. The destruction just continues. It is hard to fathom how much has been lost here. In the chaos, way too often, firefighters left without water as hydrants went dry.
They are not designed to fight wildfires. A firefight with multiple fire hydrants drawing water from the system for several hours is unsustainable.
Water! Wow. Officials say they weren't able to fill tanks
That's scary.
enough, which would have helped with the water pressure. Something NBC's Morgan Chesky saw firsthand.
Out of every fire hydrant you've seen, what have you found?
Right now, we're finding most of them are down or low pressure.
If you had a hydrant for this building,
If we had a hydrant for this building, we might have been able to save the back half.
This apartment complex is untouched for now, but you can see how close those flames are. Firefighters are making their way up. Again, they're having to ignore massive structures like this huge apartment complex. It looks like it's going to go up imminently because they are just overwhelmed. There isn't enough water up here.
The winds also grounding that critical support from the sky for most of the day. And when firefighters were able to make a stand and save a home, there was no victory. Just a brief reprieve from the helplessness of fighting fire against the wind.
That was Gotti Schwartz for us. For some of our NBC News team on the ground in Los Angeles, covering this fire is deeply personal. NBC's Jacob Soboroff, who was born and raised in the Pacific Palisades area, has this look at his childhood neighborhood that no longer exists.
I grew up in Pacific Palisades, born and raised here, and I'm
Mike, you know, this is just, I don't think we can even imagine this living in the Northeast, what these fires are and how dangerous they are, how fast they move. And then exacerbated by the fact that there's no water and they just don't have enough water to supply the firefighters to fight at this level. And when they do have water, there's no water pressure. So just, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before, Mike.
Yeah, we've never seen this in New York. I mean, there were fires in southern Jersey like 2 years ago, and they were bad enough because they got pretty close. They were in the Palisades and part of the Pine Barrens. But in this, the Santa Ana winds this time of year in California, there's always going to be a wildfire, whether it's a small one up in the mountains or something in LA. LA County about 20 years ago had some huge fires. And in the past 20 years, what has been done? What management has been done of the forest? What water is available? I know they destroyed a couple of dams. I think like 2 dams at least in near LA, where LA could draw water from in favor of I think some sort of small fish. They wanted to save their wetlands. So there's, LA and California is a very populous state. It keeps growing. It's not shrinking. And so therefore, you need more water for those people at that location for daily use and for emergencies like this. These fires are very predictable. The intensity and the scope of them are not, but these fires are very predictable, and it's wrong. It's poor planning and poor coordination, and the people are suffering. It's really horrible. These pictures, it looks like something out of Dante's Inferno. It's amazing to see this sort of thing.
Mike, besides the fact that the wind flames these fires and keeps them going, and the embers spread and they go onto other structures, and it just spreads all over the place. There's something called, and I used the word before, convection effect. And what that is when the air gets so hot that anything combustible will just burst into flames.
Yeah.
And that's also a problem too. But I think the bigger problem here is the wind spreading these embers all over the place. And then, of course, exacerbated by the fact that there's no damn water. I mean, you can't make that stuff up.
It seems that California is its own separate third world country. This is, inexcusable. And remember, each state has its own, forestry management and fish and game management. But when something like this, some issues like this that were predictable, these problems are predictable and they're mishandled, it's going to be up to, Californians, but also other taxpayers. So California is going to get money, our money, your money, everyone who's watching, their taxpayer dollars are going to be helping California. So this is going to, the impulse is going to be now, unfortunately, more federal control over state, forestry management, which is something, unfortunately, may have to happen. Many states can do this sort of thing and have good controls and good proper plans and procedures and enough firefighters and equipment, but California doesn't. And it's nothing new. This kind of thing isn't once in a lifetime scenario. This is a yearly scenario to differing degrees. It's really terrible planning. And everyone in the country, our tax dollars are going to try to help California, just like Hawaii a year and a half ago with their devastating fires. Poor municipal planning, lack of leadership at the top, and this is what you get.
Shelley O'Neill from the chatter, you're not watching anything. The governor has been all over and called in National Guard. They are not firefighters. Shelley O'Neill, you hit it right on the head.
That's right.
National Guard are bodies, but they're not trained firefighters. And they could get hurt, and they don't know how to fight fires. Hopefully, they'll bring in firefighters from all over the country, and I think that's what's happening. They're on the way, but it takes logistically, it takes time to get them there. Let's go back to NBC News.
I've never seen anything like this. We've had a lot of fires and even evacuated sometimes, but nothing like this. The whole town is gone as we knew it. This is the Palisades Public Library. It's still on fire. I brought my kids here. This was like the pride of the community when this thing was built. The weight of it all, I think, is very, very intense to think about.
In my 26 years, this could be one of the top most devastating fires I've seen.
What happens in a situation like this where the high school's destroyed, you got churches destroyed, you got the 2 supermarkets in the community destroyed? How do you come back from something like this?
They come back one day at a time.
To me, Sunset Boulevard is the heart of my community. There's not a single house left standing here. What do you do? What do they do? There's just never, ever, ever been anything like this.
I mean, I know my house is gone, but I kind of just need to see it firsthand to just let it set in. I just can't believe it.
I thought I was going to wake up this morning and it's going to be a bad dream.
This is the first time that I've seen the house that I grew up in, and I don't really know what to say. Mom, look at this.
Is that Frontera?
Yeah.